The world was a blur of motion and sensory overload as they dragged me through the labyrinthine corridors of the Spire's underbelly. I couldn't visualize the map of the school, couldn't summon a mental image of where we were going, so I was forced to rely entirely on the feel of them. Kaelen was a wall of muscle on my right, his grip unyielding, his heat seeping through my thin uniform. Rise was on my left, lighter, faster, his hand on the small of my back pushing me forward, his scent of rain and ozone dizzying me. They shoved me into a room lined with light and ancient stone, Kaelen's private sanctum. The door slammed shut, and Rise immediately began tracing glowing sigils in the air to seal us in. "Explain," Kaelen demanded, releasing me. I stumbled back against a heavy oak table, clutching my chest. The hunger inside me was prowling, agitated. "I don't know," I stammered. Nothing like that has ever happened." Rise finished his wards and turned, his kaleidoscopic eyes wide. "Because you've never been subjected to raw, unshaped mana directly. You're usually cleaning up the dregs," but Kaelen was posturing, pouring high-density ether right in your face. "I was teaching," Kaelen snapped, pacing the small room. He looked at me, really looked at me, as if seeing me for the first time. "Aphantasia. We thought it was a lack of ability, a broken connection to the ether." "It's not broken," Rise said softly, approaching me. He moved like a predator, graceful and silent. "It's inverted. She doesn't project out, she pulls in." Rise raised a hand, his fingers dancing. He was weaving an illusion. To anyone else, butterflies would be filling the room. To me, there was nothing but a slight shimmer in the air. "May I?" Rise asked, his voice dropping an octave, thick with intent. I nodded, paralyzed by the intensity of their focus. Rise placed his palm flat against my sternum, right over my heart. "I'm going to push a simple illusion into you. Don't fight it." He pushed. It felt like a stream of cold water rushing into a dry riverbed. I gasped, my back arching off the table. It wasn't visual, it was tactile. I felt the flutter of wings in my veins, the soft velvet of the magic against my nervous system. It was the most exquisite sensation I had ever known. "Oh," I breathed, my eyes fluttering shut. "She's absorbing it," Rise murmured, sounding fascinated and aroused. "Kaelen, look, her skin." I opened my eyes to see Kaelen stepping closer. He reached out, tracing the line of my jaw with a rough thumb. "She's glowing." I looked down at my hands. Faint, veins of silver light were pulsing beneath my skin before fading, digested by the void within. "You aren't a Null," Kaelen said, his voice rough. "You're a silence. The ancients wrote about mages who could end wars simply by walking onto the battlefield and drinking the magic dry." "Is that bad?" I whispered. Kaelen leaned in, bracing his hands on the table on either side of me, trapping me. The smell of wood smoke was overpowering now, intoxicating. "It makes you the most dangerous weapon in the kingdom. The council kills silences, Elara. They fear what they cannot control." Rise stepped up behind me, pressing his chest against my back. I was sandwiched between them, fire and illusion. The combined pressure of their magical auras was making my head spin, fueling the hunger in my belly until it felt like lust. "We can't turn her in," Rise whispered into my ear, his lips grazing the sensitive skin of my neck. "I won't let them execute her." "No," Kaelen agreed, his golden eyes darkening. "We hide her, we train her." "Train me to do what?" I asked, my voice trembling. "To feed," Kaelen said darkly. "If you don't learn to control the intake, you'll implode and take half the city with you. You need an anchor, you need sources." "Sources?" Rise chuckled darkly, his hand sliding down to rest on my hips. "High-density mana sources, like us." Kaelen's gaze dropped to my lips. The air in the room grew thin. The tension was no longer just about survival, it was primal. My body, deprived of magic my whole life, was suddenly drowning in it, and it wanted more. "We have to bind her," Kaelen said. "A Triad Bond. It's the only way to regulate her flow without killing her." "A bond," I squeaked. "It requires intimacy," Rise purred. "Physical contact, emotional openness, a sharing of essence." Before I could process that, the heavy iron door of the sanctum shuddered. Someone was pounding on it. "Open up," a voice boomed from the other side, by order of the High Inquisitor. "Kaelen cursed, they tracked the surge." He looked at Rise, then at me. "We don't have time for a ceremony. We have to jumpstart the bond, now." How? I cried as the door hinges screamed under a magical assault. Kaelen grabbed the front of my shirt and pulled me flush against him. By overwhelming your senses so completely that your soul latches onto ours for survival. He crashed his lips onto mine.
Want to keep the flame ignited without having to wait for the next part? You can find the full, tantalizing tale on our main page. See the link in the description.